Bill Finley and his crew have been busy today. Now they're getting set for game number 2 of the doubleheader. Albert Pujols is in the lineup. The umpires are on the scene, and we're set to go for baseball here on Fox Sports Midwest. The Washington Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals in game 2 of their doubleheader. With Al Hrabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us. The Cardinals offense again came alive in game 1 of the doubleheader, but it just wasn't enough.
It wasn't. The Cardinals had 14 hits. They hit into 4 double plays. They missed turning a double play in the first inning. That cost an early run. And then a big 6-run third inning did in Westbrook and the Cardinals.
And if you missed it, let's take a look at some of the highlights from earlier today. As Al told you, first inning, Washington scores first, so the Cardinals were playing catch-up the entire afternoon. In the third inning, Washington would play 6, but in that 6th inning, the Cardinals had an opportunity with Albert Pujols at the plate and 2 runners on, but a deep fly ball to left. And then later in the ball game, 8th inning, Ryan Franklin comes in, Al, and allows that home run to Lance Nix. Outside of that, though, he looked okay.
Yes, he did. He goes 2 innings. He only had the 1 hit. That was the big bomb, but it was much improved.
9th inning, Daniel Descalso lines to right, and Jason Worth with a sliding catch to end it as the Washington Nationals would hold on in game 1 of the doubleheader. So we're set for game number 2. A breezy, cold night here in St. Louis. Stay with us, more to come. Game 2 of the doubleheader just around the corner here on Fox Sports Midwest. The Cardinals will try to salvage a game of the doubleheader. It's our first take. We're banking on your future, and it's a look at the Cardinals starting rotation.
Well, everything looks good from left to right until you get to the right. Jake Westbrook still trying to figure it out. Carpenter has been better. Loesch has been excellent. Kyle McClellan, his first 3 starts have all been quality starts, and the best has been Jaime Garcia. 2-0, 1.35 ERA, already a player of the week in the books, and he has just been special. He was the best rookie pitcher in the National League last year, and he's picked up right where he left off. Just excellent stuff and keeping the ball down.
Jordan Zimmermann getting the start tonight in game number 2 for the Washington Nationals. We'll have 5 in 55. What's that all about? Stay with us and find out. Steaks are on the grill as we get you set for game number 2 of baseball here tonight of our doubleheader on Fox Sports Midwest. 5 in 55, 5 players in 55 seconds that could have an impact here in game number 2.
Garcia, one of 7 National League starters that has not allowed a home run this season. Great start, 2-0, 1.35 ERA. Albert Pujols, he has just crushed the ball against Jordan Zimmermann. 4 for 5 with 2 home runs. He's coming alive. Speaking of Zimmermann, 20 months post Tommy John surgery. A very talented right-hander. Good ERA, 2.45. Jason Worth, the $126 million free agent, is off to a very slow start. 200 batting average with 2 home runs and only 2 RBIs. Speaking of RBIs, Matt Holliday has really come alive. A .441 batting average, great success in his home ballpark, and look for Holliday to be a big key against Jordan Zimmermann today.
It's game number 2 of our doubleheader. Washington and St. Louis coming up on Fox Sports Midwest.
Tearing your heart out, but baby, you gotta Recognize these names? That's right, they're some of the biggest and best auto dealers from all over the area. Now you can shop and compare all their new and used cars in one place, carsoup.com. With every new and used vehicle in stock from all these dealers and more, plus listings from private sellers, carsoup.com puts a huge selection of local vehicles right in your lap. Find the best deals from the best dealers all in one place, carsoup.com. Buy, research, sell.
Whether you're actually going to the game, watching it on TV, or listening to it on the radio, taking in the baseball game together is a great family tradition. Another family tradition is shopping at Schnucks, where this week you'll find whole boneless Kretschmar ham, specially priced to save you more on your Easter meal. Selected packages of Kellogg's Pop-Tarts and boxes of Kellogg's cereals are on sale for just $1.77 each, and 64-ounce bottles of Schnucks apple juice are 2 for $3. Enjoy peace of mind only at Schnucks.
Let's go after the DMV. It's okay that we're number 403. We'll find ourselves a comfy seat and watch some shows and stuff. Let's follow that lady with the laptop.
Now you can watch hit TV shows on your laptop with Uverse Online and on your smartphone with Uverse Mobile, included with most plans. Or get Uverse TV for as low as $29 a month for 6 months. In the network, you can take entertainment with you.
And right now, lease the Sorrento for $239 a month.
Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinking Bush Light. By Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Along with Al Rabowski, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome inside to Busch Stadium on a cool night in Game 2 of our doubleheader.
Need to start playing a little better baseball here at home as the Cardinals found their record fall to 2-5. A lot of offense, but poor starting pitching, and you hope that's not the case here. Jaime's been awful good, Dan.
Jaime Garcia, arguably the best starter so far, stats-wise, 1.35 ERA and a record of 2-0. First game out, he had the complete game, and admittedly, he did not have his best stuff in his last start against the Dodgers, but good pitchers, as you well know, Al, find a way to grind through it, and that's pulled foul off the bat of Danny Espinosa, their second baseman, and Garcia did that, and all of a sudden you look up, he won.
Sign of maturity as he's not allowing things that go on around him or what he doesn't have control of to bother him. And he didn't have his best stuff, but as you just mentioned, the sign of a good pitcher is when you don't have your best stuff, you can still win, and that's what he did in LA.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Espinosa. He burst onto the major league scene a year ago, September call-up, and hit 6 home runs, had 15 RBIs in 28 games.
So switch hitter.
And he strikes out to start the night. Let's meet Jim Riggleman's lineup. Espinosa and Keel and Worth. Then LaRoche, Ramos, and Morse. Desmond, Hairston, and Zimmerman. And once again, a nice round of applause for Ricky and Keel. There's a look at Jim Riggleman, 12th season as a manager. And Keel is swing and a miss. And Rick is getting extensive playing time out in the outfield with Ryan Zimmerman hurt at third. Hairston moves from the outfield to third base, so it opens up an everyday spot for Keel, who rips a base hit into right. One of the best moments, if not the best moment outside the World Series at the new Busch Stadium. Rick Ankiel, August 9th of 2007. He was called up out of options, so he had to stay here. And the reaction of Tony La Russa.
I still laugh at Tony's reaction. But that was a very special night for Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa, two of Rick's biggest supporters. And it's worth mentioning again what Rick did today in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch newspaper.
Yeah, he took out a half-page ad thanking the fans, and a bit surprising. I don't think anybody knew that that was coming, and very thoughtful and a classy move and gesture done by Ricky Ankiel. That misses on the inside corner. And this is Jason Worth. He had a couple of base hits in game 1 and also an RBI. He's batting .220, pair of home runs and 3 driven in. Out of Glenwood High in Illinois.
We talked about in game 1, maybe Jason Worth is not hitting much right now or producing, but he's doing a lot of little things to help his ball club win, and that was demonstrated in the first game on several different occasions.
Grandfather played 19 big league seasons. And that's a foul tip held on to by Molina. Second strikeout for Garcia. Let's meet the defense behind the lefty here tonight. Presented by Dobbs. Holiday, Rasmus, and Berkman in the outfield. Descalso gets a start at third. Terrio at short. Nick Punto, his first start, he's at second. Pujols at first. And it's Garcia and Molina, the battery tonight. Now, you talked about it. He is known for his glove, the second baseman of the Cardinals.
Super sub. Wherever you play him in the infield, he's going to give you Gold Glove caliber play.
Runner goes, and Keel has second base and on his way to third.
It just shouldn't happen. The ball sailed a little bit on Molina, but that has to be stopped. You know, concede the run. And you see Terrio come into there, the ball sailing to the right side, but it's got to be stopped instead of just giving them a cheap other base and ended up with a runner at third base. Cardinal defense is a bit porous, and that came to play in the first inning of game 1. A double play that wasn't made turned into a run.
And the Cardinals actually appealed to see if Ankiel had touched second base. He barely did. Now he's at third base in a 1-0 pitch. I think that the question for Molina too, and I know you said it sailed, but it didn't really look like Terrio was at the bag either on time.
And really no excuse. You saw him moving in there. Now, what you do in a situation like that, the man stealing, you don't go directly to the bag, but you come running in so you close the gap and wait and see what happens with the pitch.
See the right eye of Tony La Russa swollen shut, dealing with an infection. Very, very painful, he was telling us. The 2-1 pitch taken for a ball. Now, LaRoche is a guy that you can get to swing and miss. He struck out 172 times last year with Arizona. He's been with the Braves, Pittsburgh, Boston, the Braves again, Arizona, and now with the Washington Nationals. Hard hit to second. Punto on a hop. Garcia strands a runner, and Keel at third. No score after a half inning. Glad you're with us here on the home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest. There's no score. As we move to the Redbirds half of the first inning, Ryan Terrio in our Southwest Airlines starting lineup leads it off. His average has jumped up to .338. Then Rasmus, Pujols, Holiday, Berkman, Molina, Nick Punto, Descalso, and Jaime Garcia. Cardinals will face a really good young pitcher in Jordan Zimmerman tonight.
20 months post Tommy John surgery. He did make 7 starts at the big league level last season, but he is an outstanding pitcher. Got a great potential. He's only 24 years of age, and a good ERA of 2.2 or 2.45, more indicative than the 1-2 record.
Now, Washington offensively, it's been a struggle this year. What has not been a struggle, their starting rotation, it's been one of the better ones in baseball.
They have gone at least 5 innings in every start. The only major league club to do that at this stage in the season.
0-2, a swing and a miss on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Zimmerman can get it up there to 96, 97. Morse, Ankiel, and Worth in the outfield. Hairston, Desmond, Cora, and LaRoche along the infield. And the battery tonight, Zimmerman and Wilson Ramos. That's presented by Dobbs. Cardinals have seen Zimmerman before. 2010, very quick progress coming back from Tommy John. It's popped foul and out of play. It was the same day the Nationals had learned about Steven Strasburg that he would need Tommy John. Well, they got some news on Zimmerman too. We could see where these two guys could anchor rotation for a long, long time. Adam Wainwright recovering from his surgery.
#1 cheerleader. Back home, he's got that status.
Fought off by Colby Rasmus and hit out of play.
Everything is progressing pretty well with Wainwright, to the point where right on schedule, that missed the entire year, but really expecting no setbacks next spring.
0-2 pitch. Hit sharply to LaRoche. Very good glove man at first base, and Al, you noted in game 1 of the doubleheader, he's really made a difference with this young middle infield that Washington has, in particular their shortstop.
Well, the shortstop can be a little erratic with his throws, and LaRoche has done an outstanding job of saving errors or errant throws, and this is a much improved defense, and a lot of that gives confidence to the pitching staff. Zimmerman has one problem. His name's Pujols.
And the first pitch is taken for a strike. Albert Homer to right center in game number 1.
Albert 4 for 5 with 2 home runs against Zimmerman.
Zimmerman pitched at Division III Wisconsin Stevens Point.
You act like that's not a powerhouse, baseball powerhouse.
Because it's not.
Oh.
Now, having said that, this guy is tough. His jaw was wired shut. He was hit by a line drive in batting practice in his final season, and he pitched with his jaw wired shut the entire year in college.
And end up being the 67th overall pick for Washington, selected in the second round of 07.
The 2-2 reached for by Pujols and spoiled into the seats. Much better crowd here for game 2 of this doubleheader. That misses low and away. Diamondbacks, the bottom of 5, leading Cincinnati 2-0. We'll keep an eye on that game. We'll see the Reds here on Friday night. The 3-2 pitch. And it's a called third strike, and Pujols may have been fooled, and he strikes out. The party suites and the party rooms filled up tonight here at Busch Stadium on a cold night. That's the place to be. There's no score. FoxSportsMidwest.com, your home for exclusive Cardinals coverage. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. FoxSportsMidwest.com, the place for Cardinal fans. No score here in St. Louis. This is Ramos, their young catcher that they're very high on.
Remember last season, we opened up in Minnesota, right before the season started, and Ron Gardenhire, the manager of the Minnesota, was telling me about Ramos. Said, I've got a pretty good catcher in Joe Mauer, but he said this young man right now could be a #1 catcher in just about every other ball club. And they end up trading. The Nationals traded a closer, Caps, because Nathan was out. And by the way, Nathan is having his problems in Minnesota and voluntarily stepped down from the closer, and Caps now is fulfilling that role. But they got Pudge Rodriguez to start the first game, but Ramos is an outstanding catcher, so they're pretty good shape back behind the dish.
Another thing about Minnesota too, Joe Mauer is on the disabled list, dealing with leg fatigue.
So now I'm sure they wish they had him back.
And if you're Minnesota, you're really in a quandary because Joe Mauer can flat out hit, but he wants to catch, but yet you want to save him from a organization standpoint for years to come. Long-term investment with him. So does he become a DH? Do you try to cut back some of those innings behind the plate? Can you move him to first? All those things.
We touched on a little bit that Pudge having the most hits ever by a catcher, and most of the time you change because of the legs.
Ground ball to short. Terrio is there for the first out. Broke the bat of Ramos and picks up out number 1 here in the second.
Set up away, ball up over the middle of the plate, but kind of jams him and gets him to get a harmless little ground ball. So good start here for Jaime.
Michael Morris getting the start here in game 2. He's in left field. Came over from Seattle for Ryan Langerhans back in 2009.
He's not a young guy, but he's got terrific power. Had a great spring.
And Morris, when he was initially signed, was a shortstop and has moved to the outfield, as you see Molina pointing to that front shoulder of Garcia. Sometimes you'll see Jaime fly that open, won't we?
Yes.
And in doing so, it just drags the arm.
The arm will usually produce the ball up and away to a right-handed batter. As your arm just kind of drags through the zone and you can't get on top of your pitches.
2-1 pitch.
Now he holds the bat high and out over the plate. Now you can't have a quick stroke. You can't have a lot of quick bat speed by holding the ball right there. You would call this type of hitter having slider bat speed. Good fastballs up and in, should be able to get it. But what Morris is hoping is you leave a fastball middle half in, it just doesn't have the good octane, and he has the power to hit it out of the ballpark easily.
Terrio, 2 away. And it brings in Desmond.
Terrio had season high 4 hits in game number 1. Here he's made a couple nice plays. Grabbed the ball immediately, has that 4-seam grip. Strong, accurate, not strong, but he has just enough. He made a dazzling defensive play deep in the hole where he jumped up and got a lot on the throw, but just seems like whatever he needs, he'll have the arm strength to get it over there about a half step ahead of the runner.
Ian Desmond, the shortstop. And it was Desmond in game 1 that he made that play on. Went deep in the hole. It's almost a Derek Jeter patented play, that backhand and then jump and throw to first. That was the type of play that Terrio made.
And another comparison between Terrio and Jeter. Jeter has more singles than anyone in baseball, and Terrio's number 2 in the last few years.
0-1 pitch, misses inside. Ian Desmond is 25 years old, out of Sarasota, Florida. 1 base hit, pair of RBIs in game 1. Outfield is straight away. A late swing, 1-2. Was the 84th overall selection out of South Florida back in 2004, and they feel that there's a wave of players for Washington coming, and Desmond being the first of many. Held on to by Molina. Strikeout number 3 for Garcia. Holiday, Berkman, Molina coming up. No score. Midway through 2. Toyota keys to the game, and really, Al, you could say this is the keys to the season. the guys in front and behind Albert Pujols.
Of course, once Holiday returned from the appendectomy, missed 7 games, this offense has ignited. Berkman was the reigning player of the week, as he had 6 home runs last week, 12 RBIs. Mentioned that Terrio has been a little table setter. He had 4 hits, a season high in game 1 today. But it's the big 3. And you have to have guys on ahead of the big 3, and you have to have protection for Albert behind him.
1 ball, 1 strike on Holiday. Hitting .500 against this right-hander. Had a couple of hits in game 1. 1-1 pitch. In the air to right, Jason Worth. A few steps to his left to make the catch. So 4 up and 4 down so far for Zimmerman, and a pair of strikeouts, and it brings in Berkman. Berkman earlier today picked up his first base hit from the other side of the plate. He's hitting .309 with his 6 home runs. He's driven in 13.
Leads the club in both categories. 6 home runs and 13 RBIs. Albert's chasing him with 5 and 12. You didn't really think he was going to go hitless, right?
I did not, no. It's to short, off the lip of the grass and into shallow left field. Backing up the play, the third baseman, Jerry Hairston.
Yeah, that was a hustling play by Hairston. And Desmond, who is really the key to their defense. It is improved, but he's made some errors. And there's another one that goes off his glove, but ball goes into left field, and the third baseman just really scrambled out. Watch Hairston right here. As he takes off, checks to see if Berkman's going to try and go to second, but a real hustling play keeps him at first.
Here's Yadier Molina. It hit the lip of the grass. It stayed down, and then off the glove of the shortstop, Ian Desmond. Molina, who did not start in game 1, hits a fly ball into right. Worth backs up to make the catch. And it brings in Punto. 6 is a serious number again. The Cardinals score 6, get 25-cent drinks the next day, all day at On the Run at Mobile. That's any 20-ounce coffee found in a frozen drink for just a quarter. We're serious at On the Run at Mobile. Nick Punto was a key part of one of the big rallies in game 1 for the Cardinals. Worked back from an 0-2 count in the 6th inning. Worked a walk and then came around to score on a bloop hit by Colby Rasmus.
Now Punto, very early in spring training, diagnosed with a sports hernia, had the surgery. When the Cardinals went on that 10-day road trip, he went to extended spring. Only played in 4 games. So he's just starting to have his spring training.
Now let's tell the folks at home a little bit about Nick Punto. He's a very good glove man, as you mentioned. He can play second, he can play third, which is great insurance for David Freese on days like today if you needed to play third, but he's also a switch hitter.
And he can also play shortstop, so that really makes you a valuable utility man if you can play shortstop.
Punto to Zimmerman. He'll step on the bag himself. Cardinals will strand a runner, their first of the night. We play 2. No score. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar, opening soon at Lumiere Place Casino and Hotels, the Pulse of St. Louis, and by Kia Motors. That's the Redbird Club, which is air conditioned during the summers, and it has the flat screen TVs, different food stations,
heaters.
Yeah, and a night like tonight, you can stay warm. Great place to take in a game right here at Busch Stadium. Unobstructed view of the field. Hairston digs in, and the first pitch was a strike. 8th place hitter, followed by the pitchers Zimmerman and then Espinoza. Jim Hayes has joined us, and Jim, tell us a little bit about the locker room, the clubhouse You were down there after game one. What stood out for you?
I got a chance to talk to Dave Duncan about Jake Westbrook's outing, and Dave said obviously command was an issue, but he had the appearance, Westbrook, of nibbling. He needs to be more aggressive, especially a guy with his stuff, and he felt like that was definitely a step backward. The last start for Westbrook prior to tonight, or to today, he felt they were making progress in terms of getting him in sync, getting the command together, and he felt like there was a bit of a backslide.
Now you would figure he would go on Sunday Night Baseball with Cincinnati in town. Short outing, only 67 pitches and 3 innings, and I'm assuming that's the plan now for Jake Westbrook. His next start would be on Sunday.
After the game, Tony said they haven't really even started talking about Sunday. They wanted to see how Jake did today. I assume also the rest of the guys in the bullpen and the rest of the series, how that goes, will factor in as well.
Slowly hit towards third and out. Descalso fine play on the left side of the infield.
Descalso's played very well at third base. David Freese has done a great job there, but the days when they're trying to rest David, Descalso has shown defensively he can handle it. Trying to pull that outside pitch, you roll over the top of it, not hit well, do or die play, and made in fine fashion.
Here's Zimmerman, and he'll take a ball. 1 out, nobody on. The 9th place hitter, Zimmerman, first time through this lineup. And Keel picked up a base hit to right. No walks. And Garcia has struck out 3 of the first 8. Garcia, as we talked about in that start against Los Angeles, worked a little bit slower than what he's doing tonight, but we also talked about the fact that that night was a grind, and it looks like tonight he's in a little bit of a groove.
When you work this fast, you're doing it because you feel it. You know you've got good stuff. You want to control the pace. He's out there challenging people. He's got a little extra responsibility with the bullpen going 6 innings. He knows there's a few arms that are not available, so he's got to go deep in this game.
Carsoup.com, email the booth. If you have a question, just go to carsoup.com/Cardinals and send us your email the booth questions. So 4 strikeouts back to the top of the lineup, and Espinoza, who struck out to start the game. Second baseman for Washington, and a quick swing and a miss.
I know you guys had referenced that Jaime in his last start got the win, but had to pitch through some stuff, gave up 8 hits in 5 innings. I asked Duncan about Jaime's last outing, and he said that's a sign that a pitcher is coming into his own, that he's not distracted, that he's not at all rattled by little things that crop up during a game. I think I used the word maturity. Something Al thinks I don't know much about.
No, I just think that everything you said we've already stated. But it's coming from Dave Duncan when you're saying it, and we said it from our standpoint.
Said it earlier in game 1 too. Actually, and just said it again.
1-2 the count. In the dirt, 2-2. Garcia wasting no time, gets that baseball back to the rubber, gets his sign, and here we go.
There are times when Jaime will throw the ball and it will really run away from a right-handed batter, almost like a screwball.
Descalso at the backhanded play. Oh, what a play by the Cardinal third baseman here in game 2. Had to charge the first out. This one a backhanded play, and wouldn't you know it, he leads it off when we come back. Nicely done by Daniel Descalso. No score midway through 3. MLB At Bat app 2011 is out and ready for you. All you have to do is text 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. 2 very good plays by Descalso in the top half of this inning. 2 balls and no strikes.
Surprising thing is he's noted as being a second baseman, is how well he's played third.
Fights this off. Little bloop into right. That gets down for a base hit. He'll stop at first. He was possibly thinking 2, but it's a leadoff base hit for Daniel Descalso, and the Cardinals pick up their first hit of the night.
There's a certain amount of energy that he brings. I know the Cardinals like that. No matter where you put him, it seems he's always in the middle of it.
Mislocation kind of fights this one off, and you think too when you leave the batter's box. Jam shot, but muscles it out there. Make the defense stop you. In this case, they did. Espinosa got there. They respect the throwing arm of Worth, but you make the turn you think you're going to, and when they react and get to that ball quickly and come up ready to throw, then you stop.
Garcia can handle the bat a little bit. Still looking for his first hit. And in his young career, a 161 career hitter. But many times, as we've seen, show bunt, then hit away. And now maybe you could try to explain the defense here and what Washington wants to do and what they want to accomplish with this play.
Well, obviously they're pinching down at the corners. The second baseman would take the throw, whether it be from the catcher, the third baseman, first baseman, and then the shortstop goes at second. Here's one way to stop it, is put a little hit and run on. And the real key for there is Descalso, and he picked it up, is you've got to look in, locate that ball. You hit the ball in the air, you better find out where it is. And Tony is very creative with his pitchers, but when you've got someone as talented as Jaime, and Jaime can swing the bat, you can really fool the defense or make them very uneasy.
Gets the bunt down. Zimmerman only plays to go to first. Second baseman is covering. That's Espinosa, and Descalso is in scoring position. Join Major League Baseball and the Players Association in helping Japan's children in need. Visit unicef.org or text Japan to 864-233 to donate $10. For more information, visit MLB.com/Japan Relief. Back to the top of the lineup, and Ryan Theriot struck out first time up, 0 for 1. So the sacrifice is good, 1-4. Chance for Theriot. Looks at a strike. Theriot with 8 RBIs so far this year.
Talked about on the hit and run how Descalso has to make sure he knows where that ball is. Well, even when you're bunting like this, he had to make sure that bunt got down. It appeared by the way he took off that there's a little question mark whether he thought that ball was going to be popped up or not. That got over to second without a play.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Espinosa to his left and makes the play. For 3 years, Espinosa in the system of the Washington Nationals was noted as their best glove man. Now he is a shortstop by trade, but with Desmond at short, they like him. Espinosa goes to second base, and that's why, guys, they're so high on these two.
Well, you could see right there just how quick he is.
Range, yes.
And the range as he scooted to his left, got around that ball, and then took his time to throw it out. But a productive out, moving Descalso to third.
Rasmus rips it foul. Grounded out to first. He's 0 for 1. Homered in game 1. Very good numbers to start the year. You love to see that .432 on base percentage. There's so many times, Al, we look at average in home runs and RBIs, and rightfully so, but hitting in front of Pujols, that's a key. And so is that. 2 out base hits. And an RBI for Colby Rasmus, his 9th. And it's 1-0 St. Louis.
When you talk about how a pitcher has a responsibility, once he releases the ball, become a 5th infielder. And here he fails to stab that ball or at least knock it down. Unhappy with himself, and the Cardinals have their first lead of the day. But you were talking about his on-base percentage, Rasmus. How key is that ahead of Pujols?
Exactly.
And Thunder in the middle of the order.
2 outs, runner at first, and Pujols takes a ball. Albert struck out looking first time up this season. First 9 games, 143 average, and then the last 9 what we're used to for the last 10 years. 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another reminder that we'll have an hour-long pregame show on Friday night. Rick and Al will have the call at 7 o'clock. Cincinnati and St. Louis in game 1, which should be a fun series.
Straight away in the outfield, maybe bunching a little bit, particularly in right as they give him a line.
A rocket to center. Track to the wall and caught by Rick Ankiel. Can't hit it much harder as Ankiel was playing awfully deep. It's 1-0 after 3. Here's Rick Ankiel, and we're underway here in the 4th inning. Saw Rick Ankiel make that catch near the wall, and maybe think about that horrific night when Rick Ankiel went crashing into the wall, and we didn't know the severity of the injury at that point. You would think that would be in the back of his mind. I know it's in the back of mine.
Yeah, it was not good at all, and really ran full force in his head and his neck and shoulder, and it really took, I would say, a year plus to really recover from that.
Ankiel hits it to the opposite field. It's well hit. It's near the wall, and the catch is not made as Holiday dropped it, and Ankiel hustling all the way winds up at third.
2 hands, trying to catch it with 1 hand, and Matt Holliday has become a much better outfielder, but right there, really inexcusable, and another reason why you use 2 hands. Trying to catch the ball, 1 hand kind of right there shoulder high, and if you have the other hand to close on the ball, it stays in the glove. But a 3-base error.
The one thing we saw with Rick, he can run. Very good athlete, good speed. He winds up at third. The Cardinals have committed 2 errors as Worth chases that pitch out of the zone. That very good late movement by Garcia.
Now here's a real test for Jaime. He's starting to, this is what Dave Duncan's talking about, the ability to overcome a fielder's mistake or something that's beyond his control. Just go out there and pitch your game. Cardinals do have a 1-0 game. Now a lot of times, in order to not put a big crooked number up there, you pitch your game. You don't worry about if that runner at third base scores here. Just make sure you can, if the inning develops and you can pitch around the mistake and shut them out, that's great. But don't do things crazy trying to protect that run there and end up walking a guy or doing some careless things.
3-1.
And working awfully fast right here and falling behind the count. It's easy to pitch fast when you have no one on base, but there are times when you got to slow it down a little bit.
Count is full. On 3-1, you might think that Worth was ready to pull the trigger.
And he got an 88-mile-an-hour pitch. It's kind of cutter speed and it didn't look like it really did anything.
Slowly hit towards third. Descalso only play to go to first and out.
Another good
play by Pujols, and you're right, Al. That's the third very good play we've seen from Daniel Descalso, but that ties it up in 1-1.
But that's what I'm talking about. You go ahead and pitch right there. They're going on contact, so you have to get an out. And it really was not at home plate. The out was at first base. Good pick by Albert at the other end. Concede the run, but sometimes in an effort to save that run there, you'll end up walking a guy or two and you end up putting a big crooked number up there.
Here's LaRoche. Grounded out to second sharply. His first time up. Two balls and no strikes. Two and one.
Last several years, Roche has consistently put up that 20 home run or more mark.
Well, last year, despite the strikeouts, he hit 25 home runs, drove in 100. Played 151 games. Bottom dropped out of that pitch to even it up at 2-2. But you're right. You could pretty much pencil in that 15 to 25 mark, somewhere in there. Close to 85, 100 RBIs. And the count runs full. Came up with Atlanta back in 2004. Brother Andy, of course, in the big leagues, and it's a walk with one out. Right now you can try a small frozen strawberry lemonade for just $1, only at McDonald's. There's Ramos. 0 for 1 with a ground out to short. Saw all kinds of double plays in the first game. Jaime would love that here.
Cardinals hit into 4 of them. Like to turn it around on the Nationals.
Ramos played in just 7 games with Minnesota last year, and then 15 with Washington. Hit .269 in those games.
And is it a bit surprising if I tell you that Garcia's pitch count is up into the 70s, 73 already?
Doesn't seem right, but that's what it has here at the stadium. You're right. Just sailing along, but 73 with only 1 out here in the 4th. He has struck out 4 on the night. Popped up. Descalso calling for it, the Cardinal third baseman. Garcia in his young career has enjoyed pitching at this ballpark. 1.55 ERA. Only Josh Johnson of the Marlins has been better. And then Adam Wainwright 1.78. Johnson nearly had a no-hitter about 10 days ago. He is nasty.
Remember, he was right in the thick of the Cy Young Award race last season, as well as Wainwright, but
popped up to the right side, and that ball will get down. It's foul. Now let's take a look at the stance here of Morse and why, if you can try to get inside, in your opinion, you'd have the success.
well, his arms are so far out away that, one, they're high and out away from his body. So it's very unorthodox, and he is really put together in the upper body, so he's not going to have a quick bat. You try to exploit that by pitching up and in and just tying him up. Now, a lot of times a hitter like this wants you to try to do that and doesn't think that you have the command, so they're going to try and work inside, and he gets jammed again, but he's got great strength.
Rasmus is there. The air by Holiday leads to a run, and we're midway through 4. Washington 1, St. Louis 1. Matt Holliday leads it off for the Redbirds. Bottom of the 4th rolls in. We're tied up 1-1. It's Holiday, Berkman, and Molina. The first pitch is taken high and outside. Holiday flied out to right his first time up. You did not see or hear about game number 1. Fernando Salas was outstanding and in many ways has saved the club from here on out.
You're absolutely right.
3 very good innings.
It's one of those situations where Salas, he had a career-high 3 innings. And remember, first batter got a triple. And he stranded him and then went on to have 9 up, 9 down, brought sanity to that ball game and saved the bullpen.
It's got to be a good feeling out there. He knows he will not come in barring a disaster.
You know, if you're out there, you know you shouldn't be coming in, probably won't. But don't tell me I've got a complete day off and then bring me in.
Holiday draws a leadoff walk in this 1-1 game. Last pitch, it just missed.
See that ball, the slider just sliding across the strike zone and out, and good eye to stop, hold up.
I'm figuring it for Salas, it's a feeling out there like a starter that wins the day before.
Or a guy that won the first game.
Or the guy that won the first game, definitely.
But, you know, it's a mixed bag, because you feel bad because you lost the first game. But obviously, from a personal standpoint, he convinced himself that he could go 3 extremely effective innings. Really did a job. He was going to.
Berkman slices this down the left field line. That ball is fair. That's a fair ball. Kicked in the corner. Here comes Holiday. Throw to the plate. He is safe. Lance Berkman does it again, and it's 2-1 Cardinals. Berkman, the RBI double, now with 14 this year.
Fall in love. If you play for the Astros, you fall in love with left field. Whether it's the Crawford boxes or just hitting the ball to left field down the line, there's a lot of hits out there. A lot of funny things can happen. You got a man in front of you. Look at Holiday has the play in front of him. Oquendo extremely aggressive. He sends him home. The shortstop wasn't sure, and then he throws the ball, and it gets tangled up between the runner and the catcher. Zimmerman backing up, and so they could only stay at second base.
Matt Holiday safe at home, safe and secure. New York life. Here's Yadier Molina with a runner at second base, and still nobody out. It's a good spot for Yadi, who's outstanding at taking the baseball to the right side and at least, at the minimum, advancing the runner.
And look where the right fielder is Worth. Has a very strong arm. Playing in a step or two. There could be a nice play at the plate on a base hit to right.
0-1 pitch. Molina bunts. Berkman to third, and the sacrifice is good. The second sacrifice for the Redbirds here in the first 4 innings. Visit Bush Bash prior to every Friday home game in the Ford Plaza for live music and player appearances throughout the season. And this Friday, it's Ryan Franklin. For details and future player appearances, visit cardinals.com/promotions. So the sacrifice is good, and it brings in Nick Punto. Punto grounded out to the pitcher, Zimmerman, his first time up. Infield is drawn in.
Great opportunity to pick up your first National League RBI. Infield in, a lot of hitting lanes in the infield. Sac fly. You don't see too many squeeze plays with a left-handed batter.
Showing bunt. That'll bring in the third baseman, Hairston.
Berkman not running. I mean, it wasn't a suicide.
One ball, one strike on Nick Punto. Al touched upon it earlier. You have to wonder just how sharp he is right now and where his timing is at coming off the injury.
Only 16 at bats in extended spring. So one, he's not seeing this caliber of pitching. And you're just really trying to get your eye when these guys are way ahead of you.
Rips it fair in the right. Punto the base hit. Digging for two. He'll stop there. The strong throw back in by Worth, but Nick Punto picks up a base hit and an RBI to make it 3-1.
Congratulations. And remember how we talked about you run the bases, you leave the batter's box thinking two and make the defense stop you. Slider coming across right into his wheelhouse, connects for his first National League hit, an RBI. And he's going to try and go to two, and then all of a sudden he gives the Cardinals a two-run cushion. He rounded that bag, and then we saw Worth come up ready to throw. He put on the brakes.
Here's Descalso. Single and a run scored, the first run of the game. The RBI by Rasmus with 2 outs back in the third. Big gap into right center field. And Keel playing fairly shallow at center. One out. Runner at first. Descalso looks at a ball. The stadium is really filled up. You can see in the upper areas of some of that dynamic pricing. Folks have taken advantage of that. The field box only $17 for this game tonight. That's pretty full too.
With that pricing, it changes almost on a daily basis, with tomorrow a more attractive day game. A little bit higher, but not much, right?
That's right. And Friday night, $9 seats for fireworks night.
And what a great early showdown between the Cardinals and Cincinnati.
1-0 pitch. And on the hands of Descalso for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Friday night, Kyle McClellan and Edinson Volquez, Chris Carpenter, Travis Wood in game 2. We figure it would be Westbrook and Sam LeCure, who's 0-1 on Sunday. Well, Daniel Descalso, normally a second baseman by trade, but at the end of last year playing some third base, and tonight playing it very well.
He's made 3 nice plays at third base. And with Tony still being a little tender with the playing time of Freeze.
Ground ball off the glove of LaRoche. Race to the bag. Zimmerman is there. 2 outs. And it brings in Jaime Garcia. Fox Sports Midwest and the Blues are teaming up for the Coleman St. Louis Race for the Cure on Saturday, June 11th. All team members are invited to enjoy pre-race activities, which include a meet and greet with Louis, face painting, music, and more. All you have to do is head to stlouisblues.com. Two outs and a runner at second base for Jaime Garcia. The third baseman playing in. He's even with the bag. That's Jerry Hairston. So hitting lane is open to that left side.
See, a lot of times though, Jaime will pull the ball. A lot of ground balls to the right side.
There it is. And LaRoche will take it himself. The Cardinals strand a runner, but they pick up 2 and regain the lead. We head to the 5th, and it's 3-1 St. Louis. Back in St. Louis and Busch Stadium, along with Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin. What is the Cardinals' record for most home runs hit in a doubleheader by a player?
I wonder if there's a hint there.
Pretty famous. Stan the Man, 5-3 in game 1.
At home 5 there, and one of the heard different tales that's one of the reasons why he got the name the Man. People said, you know, all these home runs or something, that man again, that man. But I thought Jack Buck told me that he was called up to the big leagues from Rochester, and that was like the first game or you know, relatively short, and even Jack was taken back. 5 home runs in a doubleheader. Boy, we miss Jack Buck.
Here's a ground ball left side, foul off the bat of Ian Desmond. 1 ball, 1 strike. Picture of Jack and Gussie Busch on the outfield wall and left, and the Hall of Famers. Off the end of the bat, and a fly ball to Holiday, makes the catch.
Big swing, but you heard the crack of the bat. So you know that you're not going to be going back. You're going to be likely coming in.
Brings in Jerry Hairston. Amazing list of numbers and players out there on the wall in left field.
And of course, you and I both represented Fox Sports Midwest for the Lou Brock statue unveiling. Harry Weber's the best, isn't he?
Unbelievable. Harry Weber designed, for people that don't know, the statues outside of Busch Stadium, with the exception of the big Stan the Man statue.
No.
That's definitely not Harry's work.
That's not Harry's work.
But all those nasty breaking ball there.
Little ones by the team store, and he also did the slightly larger than life pop-up slide of Lou Brock at the Lou Brock Sports Complex for Lindenwood University. What a beautiful campus.
Lou Brock Sports Complex, and Jackie Brock was there, obviously, and Lou, Albert Pujols, and his wife Dee Dee. As you said, you and I represented Fox Sports Midwest out there, and really just a neat afternoon. Lou was overcome with emotion and really honored by the university to do that. That's pulled foul by Hairston. And by the way, I asked Harry Weber, I said, how did you come up with a pop-up slide? He said, this was all Lou. He said Lou wanted to have a pop-up slide. And I said, well, what did you do? Did you get it from still photos? He said there were no still photos that he could find of a pop-up slide of Lou Brock. So he went back to every piece of video that he could find of Lou Brock stealing bases, and then basically sketched it, showed Lou, and Lou said, yeah, that is what it looks like. That's what I feel like in this sketch. And that's how he came about the pop-up slide.
You think about it, you'd almost need a photographer in shallow outfield.
Oh, watch out.
Timeout was not granted, and Hairston jumped back in the batter's box and almost hit Jaime with that line drive. Calls time. If it's not granted, get back in there. And look at that. His follow through kept him a little bit further to the third base side, or he gets nailed right in the back. Well, we always talk about these umpires call a timeout too late, where a pitcher has a chance to hurt themselves. And I thought Jaime in that situation slowed up a little bit. Like he's almost ready to stop. He would have been called for a balk if he did not complete the throw.
Runner at first, and 1 down. Cardinals lead it 3-1 on 4 hits here tonight.
Last 2 years since Jaime Garcia's return from Tommy John surgery, he has shown us everything. Probably the weakest thing he is maybe the pickoff move to first. But he's not allowing a lot of base runners to get on either.
Now, is that something you think that he could develop over time, a pickoff, or is it is what it is?
Well, in spring training, they had the young lefty that has a sensational move, John Gass, work with Jaime to try and improve it. It is something I think he can improve on, but I don't want to sacrifice and go into the plate.
Molina touched the baseball. It's fair. Throw to first. Got him.
Boy, what a job not to panic, stay with the play, and still gets an out.
Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark is the only hotel that gives you home field advantage. Visit HiltonSt. Louis.com to book your Cardinals ticket package. Coming this summer, the new 360 rooftop. That was very close at first, and initially, Al, I thought he was safe.
Well, he's up in the air, and he's out.
Good call.
I thought he was out, but another scoop by Albert.
So top of the lineup, Espinosa. Descalso made a fine play on him back in the third. He's also struck out. 0 for 2. Runner at second. Tying run at the plate. It floats in there for a strike. It's 71 miles an hour. How is Garcia, Al? Not that pitch is a good example. That was more of a breaking ball, but on his pitches, how is he able to get that late movement? What's the key?
Left-handed is one. You know, and
just
then,
natural movement.
Yeah, you don't see it as much as you used to, but it was almost impossible 3-4 decades ago that be left-handed and be able to throw a ball straight. Now you don't see the movement on all left-handers like you used to, but he has that ability to just have that quick little snap at the end, and that's where you get the life on your pitches, whether it fades away or the cutter coming in, finish off the breaking ball.
Little floater into center field. That drops in for a base hit. An 0-2 mistake by Garcia, and that cuts into the lead. It's 3-2. Espinosa picks up his 15th RBI. We're talking about that in game one. A leadoff man with 15 RBIs now. 15
RBIs. He had 6 in the doubleheader on Sunday and had both game winners in game 1 and 2 of the doubleheader. So he's really, you know, he's a switch hitter that's being very productive. Just a shade under 300, 2 home runs and 15 RBIs, and he knows he's making good plays.
So Garcia has been charged with the ball because he went to his mouth on the mound and did not wipe it off.
Well, normally in weather like this, they allow you to have the ability to go to your mouth on the mound, but you do have to wipe it off. So you add a ball to the count.
So 1 ball, no strikes, and a check on the runner. They throw it away.
That's what you don't want to see. And trying to have that better pickoff move. The guy's not going anyplace. Not to say he won't later on, but you see he had really no lead. And then, you know, Albert's expecting a ball chest high or something that's going to be to his right, not to his left. And Espinosa with that great speed goes all the way to third.
Smart move here by Molina to go out and maybe calm down Garcia. Minor leagues, it's one of the things that they really worked on with Jaime, just controlling his emotions as he went through the ranks.
Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, expressing yourself and being emotional, I think, is an asset, as long as it's under control. I would much rather have a player learn how to calm down rather than trying to light a fire underneath him. And Jaime is part of his maturity, and he's getting much better at it.
1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
But that is the third error of the game. And a lot of little things. Ball club has really shown, you know, that, you know, they'll get 1 out when they should get a double play. Little things where that defensively.
Hill trying to bunt. I'm not sure I'd like that play if I'm Jim Riggleman.
I like it if I'm the Cardinals.
Absolutely.
Even though it's lefty, and you know Rick can have his problems, but right now he's got an easy chance to drive in a run, make a mistake, he can hit it with the best of them, launch it. Strike zone kind of all over the place, isn't it?
It is. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 St. Louis.
You make a mistake, Rick will lose it. You make good pitches, Jaime should be able to get him out.
Left that up and over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, that's a changeup that is not good location. When Rick last wore the Cardinal uniform, he was really lost. Anybody that had the ability to throw a breaking ball away from him could get him out. Anybody could elevate a fastball. He was going to swing and miss, but he is a better hitter right now.
Pulls it foul.
You throw that ball down there and you're asking for trouble. You hang a breaking ball and he will crush it.
The 2-2, and Keel ties it up with a base hit into right. 2 hits for Ricky and Keel on base for the 3rd time. Also reached on an error back in the 4th, and we're tied up. It's 3-3.
And he's got breaking pitches that would just eat him up, and just doesn't get the ball away from him. It's elevated enough where he can pull it through the hole for an RBI.
You know, we forget, Al, back in 2008, Ricky Ankiel hit 25 home runs in his first full season in the big leagues as an everyday player. Remarkable.
You know, he's got 2 outs. Rick can't score if you get the hitter out. And you get a guy like Worth, you start splitting your concentration and don't get your location, he can hurt you.
Now, if you're Tony La Russa, you're always trying to be an inning or 2 ahead, and the pitch count, as you noted earlier, is high. Right now it's at 97. You figure Salas is out, Franklin's probably out. Franklin went a couple of innings in game 1. So your bullpen is depleted a little bit here in game number 2. And already Garcia nearing the century mark in pitches.
We were praising the Cardinals, particularly in the game against Kershaw, how they were able to knock him out in 4+ innings, get his pitch count up. But Jaime, who at times this year they have protected, they said they wouldn't do that. Last year it made perfect sense coming off Tommy John. He went the complete game and what, about 102 pitches. Then the next game he only threw 82, and they took him out after 6 very efficient innings.
Another low throw to Pujols.
Got 2 strikes, two outs. Work on the hitter. Especially when you got a weapon behind the plate in Yadier Molina. Just give him a pitch he can handle, and if they want to try and steal, let him run into an out.
Another check. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Worth tonight has grounded out but picked up an RBI in the 4th and struck out back in the 1st. Garcia with 4 strikeouts, first time through the lineup.
Jason Worth, who has great confidence in himself, saying he's more concerned, he's worried about me. Get a hitter, start, reading the body language of a pitcher. Start saying that, hey, this guy doesn't want to throw to the plate. Starts gaining his more and more confidence. Now, a lot of this is called from the bench, Tony, and effort to stop a running game. But right now you're worried about his pitch count. You keep on, not the same effort going to first base, but still get him in the dugout as quick as possible. And the only way you do that is throw him to the plate.
On 1-2. Worth hits it to Descalso. Backhands it. Strong throw to Pujols. Washington picks up 2 here in the top of the 5th. And the top of the lineup coming up for St. Louis.
What's on tap? Well, we'll be right back at you tomorrow against the Nationals. The lefty Gorzolani 0-1 against Kyle Loesch, 2-1 and pitching very well. Right here at noon on FS Midwest. Grab some buds. be some tired players after this one.
Tied up 3-3. Cardinals half of the fifth. And a ground ball hit to short. Backhanded by Desmond. One away. And it brings in Colby Erasmus with one down. Erasmus is grounded out to first. And an RBI single in the third with 2 outs.
Talking about that .439 on base percentage. Kobe's cut down on his strikeouts, taking more walks. And this looks like, you know, he just on that natural progression, keep on improving.
0-2.
Seen some high strikes, low strikes.
On 0-2, he pops it up. Desmond on the outfield grass by about a step. And quickly 2 outs.
Pulled the string on him and hit it right off the end of the bat.
Pujols is 0 for 2. Fly to deep center. And struck out on a called third strike in the first. Here's a 1-1. Catches the inside corner, and Pujols left shaking his head. He didn't like that call. It's evened up at 2-2 with 2 outs and nobody on, and a 3-3 game here in the fifth.
Want the curveball, didn't want slider, fastball in.
Holiday on deck, 3-2.
Curveball.
Ouch. Fouled off his foot, maybe his ankle.
You don't see Albert do that very often at all, do you?
No. Usually yanks that foul or somehow, some way has the uncanny ability to keep that fair.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. It seems like right there when he opens up his hips, Al, those pitches somehow he's able to keep fair.
That's something we've said for a long time. He keeps more balls fair. Wherever people, it's a change up.
And Pujols limps down to first. Takes a 2-out walk. This day in baseball history is brought to you by Schnucks. The Nationals beat the Phillies 10-4 back in '06, giving then manager Frank Robinson the league's first black manager, his 1,000th career win. Frank was with him at their last days in Montreal, Puerto Rico, and then in Washington. Jordan Zimmerman has walked 2, and here's Holiday. Outfield straightaway and deep. Ooh, good rip. Holiday has walked and scored and flied out to right.
He's got a career .327 average against Washington. Even as a visiting player, he was one of the best hitters in this ballpark against Cardinal pitching. is just, he and Albert Pujols are such high average hitters that are so strong that they'll hit a lot of home runs, but they really are just line drive hitters.
That just happened to hit home runs.
That hit home runs, you know, just because they're superior strength.
You think about Pujols' home run earlier today, just a line shot right center field. In the hole here, 1 and 2.
Let's see. You know if that was a step off or throw to first, as you saw the index and little finger. See something different. He doesn't throw a knuckleball or something unusual, so he make you think of something like this. Fastball.
Pulled foul.
A lot of today's pitchers, when they see the signal of a fastball in, they just don't have that ability to get it in far enough, and they'll leave a lot of pitches over the middle half that are hit out of the ballpark. Zimmerman can get in there. Fastball in again.
Diamondbacks beat Cincinnati today 3-1.
Milwaukee lost. The Central is all bunched up.
It really is. Right now there's not a team that's just running away with it at all.
Curveball.
First 3 weeks. Hit up the middle for a base hit. Pujols.
He's limping.
Yeah, he's limping towards second base. Just the strength of Matt Holliday making that happen right there.
Exactly right, Dan, as he muscles this ball. Wants the ball down. Leaves it in on the hit, you know, the fist. He brings his hands in to guard against it, but really didn't get out on the sweet part of the bat. Just muscles it through the infield. So many of Holliday's hits, and Albert, when they hit the ball on the ground, they just hit it so hard that they power it through the infield.
Berkman following the walk to Pujols, single by Holliday. Lance with an RBI double. Up the middle, that's a base hit. Here comes Pujols. Here comes Ankiel. He'll just go to the shortstop. It's a 2-out RBI single for Lance Berkman. 4-3 Redbirds.
Lance Berkman is just, not has he been a savior of this ball club when he plays, but just his humor in the clubhouse, sort of settling effect right off the end of the bat, right back up the middle. When you utilize all the field, it's really hard to defense him. Albert, who is limping into second, but he knows he's got a chance to give the Cardinals a lead, and he's chugging around the bases and got there. But Lance Berkman, you just felt by coming to this environment that whatever was left in the tank, it was going to bring out the best of him. But there's plenty in this tank. But even he in spring training told me he was feeling for it. He wasn't quite sure. But I think we can all say a resounding yes. He is still, Lance Berkman, one of the best hitters in the game.
2 outs and 2 on. He would have gone back to Houston. Matter of fact, wanted to after he was traded away to the Yankees to finish up last year. They said no, there was no interest. He was highly motivated, and he wanted to stay in the Central, and he wanted to come to St. Louis. There were offers of multi-year deals on the table, and he takes the 1-year, $8 million offer from the Cardinals.
Well, I think it was a perfect scenario for both clubs, but he was also banking that, yes, I will return to my form, and so I'll sign a 1-year contract. I'll come here, and then if things turn out the way I think, then I can cash in next year. But you touched on it. He felt betrayed a little bit by Houston. He wanted to come to one of Houston's, competitors, a friendly rivalry that they have established between the two clubs. A lot of those players are gone now from Houston, but Berkman wanted to come where he could make an impact and just remind Houston that he's still the great hitter.
2 balls and no strikes on Molina. Yachty hits it into center field for a base hit. Here comes Holiday. Throw by Ankiel to the plate. He is safe.
Molina doesn't have a whole bunch of hits this year, but 6 of his 13 hits have been RBI producers. It's always fun to see Rick Ankiel load up and throw a strike home. Just a little bit tardy. And you know, Holiday, for a big man, he'll get around those bases, and you just don't want to get in his way when he's coming home.
Good throw by Ankiel.
Absolutely. Always fun to see him load up. Never forget the terrific night of throwing in Colorado. Steve McCaddy, pitching coach, talked to a stunned Zimmerman as the Cardinals, after the walk to Pujols, 3 base hits, the last 2 RBI producing.
I'm with you, Al. It's 2 of the greatest throws we've ever seen. The ones that we saw in Colorado. And it just seems like
the same inning, wasn't it, or am I wrong?
Yeah, and it seems like it's almost a lost art, if you will, because you just don't see guys throw like that.
I mean, you know, if you see some highlights, but here's what we're talking about. This is the first one, goes back on a ball, and he's going to gun him out at third base. All the way in the air, right there with the tag for Troy Glaus. This one is even better as he goes into left center, all the way at the wall. Watch the throw and tag. It's Troy Glaus, and then the bench erupted and just, I don't believe it.
I'll never forget seeing Chris Duncan on the bench and in the dugout, and that angle right there, he went absolutely berserk. He couldn't believe that the throw made it there, and I remember talking to Troy Glaus about it, and Glaus said he couldn't believe it actually made it there on a fly, and he dekes the runner a little bit, but they were running the whole time hard.
There's Chris Duncan circled. Yeah, that was a great night. Bunch of smiles from Rick, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more, and so will the national fans. And
wow,
nobody could be happier that he's back and healthy.
Holiday was on that Rockies team.
I guess he wasn't convinced because he came home.
Took a chance. But at times,
you have to.
You know, after that game, and this is Nick Punto, we saw Ankiel get a little throw happy, if you will.
Yes, and that's a very good point. That was probably his last 2 good throws that year. And after that, he tried to duplicate those and made a lot of poor decisions, more so than any good ones. But for that night, he was king of the hill playing center.
And for people that have not been to Coors Field, that throw from where he was is unbelievable.
And he had to run a 50-yard sprint to get there to pick up the ball and then throw.
I mean, that center field is huge. 0-2 pitch. Liner into left and caught. They were playing shallow, and the catch is made by Morse. Cardinals pick up 2. Regain the lead. It's 5-3. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. And by Steel. Are you ready for a steal? Just in before the tag applied by Wilson Ramos, and a strong throw from Ricky Ankiel. Lance Berkman, a 2-out RBI, as well as Yadier Molina. And the Cardinals have regained the lead. It's 5-3 as we head to the top of the 6th.
2 RBIs by Berkman. As I said, not a lot of hits by Yadier. I think 13 hits, but 6 RBIs in those 13 hits. You know.
There's a strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike on LaRoche. He was grounded out and also walked. That was in the 4th. LaRoche Ramos and Morse. It's game 2 of our doubleheader right here on Fox Sports Midwest. The pitch count for Jaime Garcia is now at 104. And a right-hander starting to get loose for the Redbirds.
Looks like Mott.
But again, such a key in this game, the work of Salas in game 1. Never get sick of looking at that highlight of Ricky Ankiel and his throws in Colorado. Unbelievable. That's taken for a ball outside. So after the Cardinals have gotten back their 2-run lead, it's a leadoff walk by Garcia. The next Family Sunday is this weekend. All fans purchasing a regular price terrace level seat receive a free Hunter hot dog and Coke, and that's this Sunday. Get your tickets at Cardinals.com, and also that's the Stan the Man bobblehead day. Also check out dynamic pricing for that night, Easter Sunday.
And you just know Molina with that slow walk, it was just giving Mott time to warm up, and looks like a short night for Garcia.
And that's it for Garcia. Mott coming in. It's 5-3. Carsoup.com. Email the booth question. Comes from Ken in Springfield, Missouri, home to the Missouri State Bears. Why do they say the umpire at third base is in the rocking chair?
I don't know the official answer, but I would bet it would be something to the effect that the day before you had the toughest assignment, you're working the plate. Now the next day you have the easiest job. Very few decisions usually made by the third base umpire, not that many plays over there. So in essence, you really are in the rocking chair. You don't have a lot to do.
Our call to the bullpen presented by Chevrolet.
And I'm sure what happened right there was Mott was getting the confirmation that you can go to your mouth on a cool night. You can go to your mouth on the mound, just wipe it off, or you can go to your face.
Sawed him off. Slowly hit. Can't get the lead man. And Terrio, though, does get Ramos for the first out, and LaRoche is at second base.
Too good a pitch. Sawed him off, and if he gets it out over the plate a little bit better, he hits a nice perfect double play ball. But jamming him, breaking his bat, they could only get one.
There is Morris. Now, we talked about it his previous at bats. For folks that are just joining us, you'll see the hands out extended, and Al was talking about if you can get that fastball in, you can have success.
Now watch also, though, as they set up away and the ball goes up and in. But I just noticed, now look how far off the plate he is, because he knows that pitchers are going to try and work him in. So to compensate from that, he's well off the plate. So it's where you think you're throwing in, he's getting a lot of good bat on it.
1 ball, 1 strike. Morse tonight is fly to center and also grounded out to short.
And a big spring, but he is not hitting for a high average, under 200, no home runs. Potential is a word when you talk about Morris, but now I think he's 29. Potential becomes, prospect becomes suspect.
Looks at a strike on the inside corner, 1-2. Two and Mott is
you used to do with a guy like Mott is say, instead of giving location, just sit right in the middle of the plate and let his ball move one way or the other. Now notice a lot of times they say Mott throws the ball straight, but he is getting more movement on his pitches now.
2-2. Just missed. Full count.
Could have gone either way, and we've seen the strike zone kind of floating a little bit. Sometimes he's called the low one. More times than not, he's called the high pitch.
Fouled away. We'll do it again.
About the same pitch that he just took. This time it goes after.
Garcia lifted from the ball game, only allowed 4 base hits.
And he came in as one of only 7 qualifying National League starters to not have allowed a home run yet. And he escaped that again.
The 3-2 hit on the button, but Punto is there. So Mott has come in and gotten 2 quick outs. And it brings in Ian Desmond. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Joey Votto and the Reds head to Busch Stadium. Showdown between NL Central rivals. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 3, and you'll see that broadcast in high definition. Ian Desmond is 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in the second inning and also flied out to left. Outfield is straight away. Cardinals lead it 5-3. First pitch is taken high. If it would stay a 2-run lead or even a 1-run lead or save situation.
Tony's answer is watch the game and see who I bring in.
Thank you, Tony.
But
I'm trying to figure it out right now.
I think what he's trying to say is I'm gonna wait. And I may bring in, because Franklin is not my closer right now, temporarily, but I might have a situation where it's critical that I bring my best option in the 8th inning and try and stop a rally right then and let maybe you go with a 2-out save or extended. Batista has experience there. Boggs would be a likely candidate.
How many games are won in the 7th or the 8th inning with the game on the line and big bats coming up? But then most managers, if not all, will keep their closer until the 9th.
I talked to Whitey Herzog about this, and since Whitey has managed, the exclusive 9th inning reliever has become in vogue, and Tony's one that started it. And he said at times you'd have a real hard time waiting, when the game's on the line in the 8th inning, waiting for the 9th.
Good work by Mott. It's 3 outs and a strikeout. 5-3, the Cardinals with the lead as we move to the bottom of the 6th. Big Cardinal fan in St. Clair, Missouri. Owen George is watching us tonight. Art George as well. Big fans.
Hey, big get well wishes for our buddy Mike Bogart. Just recovering from knee surgery today. He's such a romantic guy. His wife Carla had knee surgery, so he wanted to join the fun.
Quite a guy. Sounds like a blast. That's tapped foul by Descalso. Then we'll have the pitcher spot up. And Ryan Theriot. Al, just to further your point about how the closer's job has changed, and in particular with a guy like Whitey Herzog. Bruce Sutter, Hall of Famer, 300 saves. He worked more than an inning for 188 of his saves, and he pitched over 100 innings 5 different times.
Yeah, Bruce, of course, he had almost a rubber arm. Bruce, at one time, could throw the ball hard, but hurt his arm early in the minor leagues and then learned the forkball. And it was the darndest thing. You know, I'd watch his pitch, and he didn't throw it up very hard. It was in the low 80s. And you'd ask hitters, no, what is it? And they would say, as the ball was approaching, it would look like a beach ball. It was so big, so hittable, and about the time you started your swing, the bottom fell out of it, and you couldn't just stop. Because the point was, you say, you know, it's always in the dirt, it's so slow, what was it? But that was in an era where, you know, you pitched, you'd warm up in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
Popped into shallow right. Jason Worth calls for it and makes the catch.
And as long as the man that was on the mound, whether it was a starter or a setup guy, they weren't setup guys at that point, it was just an ex-reliever, but as long as they were getting outs, they continued to pitch. And you did not interrupt their pitch unless you needed to, you know, had an opportunity to pinch hit and have a scoring opportunity. And Hamilton is going to do pinch hit here for Mott. But you know, even if it was your second pitcher, if he's in the 9th inning and he's pitching well, he stayed out there. You didn't take him out because it was a safe situation.
Mott a scoreless inning. And there is Sanchez, who has quickly become a fan favorite. Quite a road trip.
Well, he was extremely impressive with his 2 outings. Took out 5 in his first major league debut, and then 2 in his next inning of work. But he was a young kid last year at this time, was in Double-A.
1-0 pitch. Taken for a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Hamilton had a base hit in game 1 of our doubleheader here today.
He led Memphis last season with 18 home runs. He did get a September call-up, had a couple hits, so it wasn't his first major league hit. A lot of power. He's going to get a few at-bats. He's going to have to show he can play in the outfield. He's primarily here. And I don't know how much outfield he's had. He's really a first baseman, and he's not going to play there.
1-2 pitch. And he strikes out. So Zimmerman picks up his 3rd strikeout tonight. Going back to Bruce Sutter for just a moment. The fantasy camp this year, I asked Bob Forsch, who threw 2 no-hitters, long career. I said, what was the best moment you ever had on the diamond? He said it didn't involve me on the field. He said it was the strikeout of Gorman Thomas, 1982 in the World Series.
And he threw a fastball. He went away from his signature pitch, and just, you know, I mean, it's just magic. You know, he's got a home run hitter up there in the World Series, and he goes, I want to throw a fastball by him.
And he did it.
And he did it, and the Cardinals won their 9th World Championship.
It's hit out of play by Ryan Theriot.
06, they won their 10th World Championship. 2nd most in all of baseball.
Would you agree with me that the career that Bob Forsch has had, that not that we forget him, but it's underrated as far as the very good pitchers that have played for the Cardinals?
Well, he's 3rd in the all-time win list.
And that's what I'm talking about.
And the 2 ahead of him, Bob Gibson and Jess Haynes, are in the Hall of Fame. The only Cardinal to author 2 no-hitters.
Yep.
His older brother Ken threw a no-hitter for the Astros, and they're the only brother combination to have no-hitters in Major League history.
Sanchez coming in as we move to the 7th. Cardinals on top. It's 5-3. Next time you want to catch a Cardinals game, head to StubHub, where you'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you want to sit. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Young man that the Cardinal fans are going to get their first look at, and they'll be excited as he has become maybe the crowd or the fan favorites to be one of the potential closers. But let's just let him wait and get his feet wet a little bit. So our Chevy called to the bullpen, and young Mr. Sanchez. He had 3 Ks on Saturday night in a scoreless 9th inning, and he's fanned 8 of his first 11 batters that he's faced.
What have you seen from him, Al? Deception, movement, speed, what is it?
Well, he's been throwing it at 95, which gets your attention. But what I like most of all is he has command of his breaking ball and throwing it for strikes, keeping the ball down. And, you know, he's got a little flair to him. But as long as has that ability to throw strikes with both pitches, you know, you've got something to work with.
Works from the stretch. 5-3 Cardinals here in the 7th. He's got the body type, by the way, of a guy like Pedro Martinez, and kind of falls off to the side like that. Not saying that this is Pedro Martinez,
no,
but you know what I mean. He's kind of slings it up there.
But Dan, he is a rarity being a right-hander under 6 foot.
That's my point.
As guys just sign these big guys and look so mechanical, but look how fluid he looks.
Fly ball into right center. Berkman makes the catch. You love the fact that he begins his major league career and he didn't look scared at all. He came out pumping strikes.
Well, that's another quality, you know, is he does present a very positive image that, you know, that I'm not afraid. I'm going to come right at you, sling the ball up there, and throws it with good velocity, and then the ability to throw a breaking ball on top of it. Joey Cora is going to pinch hit here for Zimmerman.
And 1 out, nobody on. First pitch to Cora is tapped foul.
Dan, like any player, whether it's a pitcher or a position player, when you first bring them up, if you can guarantee that, you know, that they have 10, 12 very good outings, or, you know, really hit the ball at a high average, because at some point they're going to fail, but give them enough success so they can, you know, they can think that that's going to be the norm, not the failure part. But if you bring in a young kid like this and all of a sudden throw him under such immense pressure and he fails, he may never recover.
So far, so good. This has been fun to watch.
And that's why he's being rewarded pitching here with a lead, 5-3 ball game, you know, in the 7th inning.
Popped up left side, foul territory. Descalso for out number 2. I was about to say that really tells you something about what Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa are starting to think about Sanchez, putting him in a role like this.
Part of it's out of necessity, but they, come on, they recognize this guy has got an electric arm. You know, he came out of Venezuela. Because of some of the political problems in Venezuela, they shut down the Venezuelan academy, so he really truly is the first out of the Dominican academy to the big leagues. And that pipeline is going to start producing on a more regular basis. The Cardinals, as great as their organization has been, were really latecomers to the Caribbean. And now they have state-of-the-art facilities like other ball clubs, and it's much easier for them to sign some of the top prospects, the amateur players.
Because of necessity, Al, if he would get through this inning quickly, and right now it's only at 6 pitches, he'd have to think about maybe another inning.
I would.
There's that breaking ball, and that'll get your attention. This is the leadoff man, Espinosa, who has an RBI single, a run scored. He was robbed by Descalso and also struck out.
But if you miss like that pitch, where you don't leave it over the middle of the plate where it becomes more hittable.
The 1-1 pitch in the dirt inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
He was one of the later cuts in spring training, Sanchez. Pitched in 6 games, total of 7 innings, and an ERA of nearly 4.
95. 2-2.
Well, that was the, you know, now we're seeing 3 straight outings of him consistently throwing 94 miles an hour. Dave Duncan felt like he was more like 91 and said that, well, he threw 95 the first game because he was just amped up. But this is 3 games in a row, and you talk to minor league personnel and they say, no, he's consistently 94, 95. There's a slider again.
3-2 pitch here in the top of the 7th. Breaks his bat and a foul ball.
Not afraid to pitch inside. Jam some of these hitters. Make it uncomfortable in that batter's box. But Dave Duncan is the longest tenured major league pitching coach. Tony La Russa's been the manager for 33 years in the big leagues. 3rd on the all-time win list. They, I think, have a pretty good understanding how to bring players along, put him in situations where they can succeed. You know, at times you have to push them a little bit beyond that, and how they respond, how they react dictates whether you get them bigger assignments.
3-2, and he struck him out. Sanchez with the strikeout here at Busch Stadium. 1-2-3, top of the 7th, and it's time to stretch. The Cardinals leading by the score of 5-3. The Home Depot doing more on defense. Daniel Descalso early on, 3 very fine plays. Descalso there with that backhanded gem. And you know that he has been a huge help along the way, and that's Jose Oquendo, the secret weapon, working with the infielders of the Cardinals year in and year out. Colin Ballister, who's had 3 different stints with Washington, up and down the last 3 years between Columbus and the Nationals, as well as Syracuse and Washington. One of 3 remaining franchise players drafted by the Expos. And this is one of them on the mound.
He was just recalled on Sunday. Well, you got off to a good start at AAA, where he had 3 appearances for the Chiefs. Struck out 6 in 5 scoreless innings. So 4 years now he's been up and down.
6'5", 200 pounds. And a swing and a miss by Rasmus quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. Colby with an RBI single in the 3rd. He's popped out to short and grounded out to first. Ballister, a 4th round selection back in 2004.
There's some youngsters going out there. What do you mean Montreal?
I miss Montreal. Big fan. 0-2 pitch. There's some guys in the truck that I don't think remember Montreal. That's right, we went there.
Went through customs and they don't remember a thing after that.
No. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss by Colby Rasmus. And it brings in Pujols. 1 retired here in the bottom of the 7th. I've noted that you don't remember much of the 70s. It was a blur for you, Mr. Rabowski.
What I remember is pretty good, though.
Touche. Here's Pujols with 1 out. Albert has his average at 247. Can't wipe the smile off my face after that comment. 2 balls and no strikes.
Oh, I'll wipe it off for you if you want.
I'm sure you would. I'm not going any further about the 70s. Here's a 2-0 pitch. And Pujols takes a strike. Walked and scored in the 5th. He's lined out to deep center and called out on strikes in the 1st.
Kind of see Albert right now. You kind of feel like he's still kind of wincing on that leg. Fouled the pitch off it.
In the air out to center. Rick Ankiel is back near the wall, and he's got it. Little
Cool
warmer.
night.
Yeah. Thinking the same thing. A little warmer. That few rows deep.
And you could just see he kind of loaded up on that backside. That's that inside pitch that You know, he gets it a quarter of an inch further out to, you know, a little more of the sweet part of the bat, but he hit that pretty good. And just the difference between midsummer and in the springtime where you have the cool weather that knocks that ball down.
2 outs and nobody on, and a strike to Matt Holliday. That's the third ball that Pujols has hit today that's been an out on the warning track in center. Third one.
Diamondbacks do hold on and defeat Cincinnati 3-1. Reds are struggling a bit.
Their pitching staff has not been as good as it will be, dealing with injuries here in the early going.
And they're about to get a couple of the guys back, or they're getting closer.
Here's the 0-2. The check swing. I don't know if you saw this, but on the gun in the stadium,
106.
106 for Chapman the other night. Scouts said, no, it's not 106. It was only 103 on all their guns.
I told their guns were stadium guns.
Yeah.
Amped up a bit.
Only 103.
Well, even if it's 96, you know, and everyone else is at 89, and I'm not talking about Chapman because
right.
his changeup is 86.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't think he throws a ball that low.
His slider is around 92.
Yeah, 92. But electric stuff.
Amazing.
But he is hittable.
The 3-2 pitch. Holliday just got a piece.
He's mentioned the size of Ballister. It's 6'5", kind of only 199. So a lot of arms and legs come at you. It really is deceptive with that breaking ball because a lot of body parts coming at you, and then you think the ball's going to be thrown a lot quicker.
Missed inside and a walk to Holliday. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Al Rabowski, Dan McLaughlin with you. 2 outs and a runner at first for Berkman. Berkman has been on base 3 times, reached on an error in the 2nd inning, RBI double in the 4th, and picked up an RBI single in the 5th.
Big hits.
Left field. Morse is back, and we played 7. Rick Ankiel coming up. It's 5-3 as we head to the 8th. Our game recap is presented by the good folks at Sonic. And the Cardinals here in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Busch Stadium in St. Louis with a 5-3 lead over Washington. Garcia 5 innings. Pitch count was high, so lifted in this game. Zimmerman goes 6 innings for Washington. And Lance Berkman back at it again, 3 for 4 with a pair of RBIs.
And you also get your wish as Eduardo Sanchez back out for his 2nd inning of work.
Lance Berkman along with Matt Holliday spoke to 500 folks yesterday before the game of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Our good friend Rick Horton is involved with that. Nice to see those 500 folks here at the ballpark. Here's Rick Ankiel. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Ankiel with an RBI single. And he's also reached on an error and scored in the 4th and a single in the 1st. It's this the opposite way. Holliday over, makes the catch. 1 away. Sanchez has come in, 4 up and 4 down. It's Jason Worth, and again another look at maybe what Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan are thinking and their confidence in Sanchez, you have 2, 3, and 4 in a game that you know they desperately want to win. They don't want to be swept at the doubleheader, and he's still out there.
Well, I got a better scenario for you. When Tony gave the answer that, wait and watch. Well, you wait and watch this game, and if he goes through the next 2 hitters,
why not the ninth?
Why not the ninth? I mean, it wasn't your game plan going in, but you see someone being effective. Why? And you don't have your closer. But I'm also going to say this: even when you had Ryan Franklin, Tony and Dave Duncan still put the guy that they thought they had best suited to retire the 3 outs in the 9th inning. It just many times that it was Ryan Franklin.
Sunday, good example. Trevor Miller starts that inning.
Exactly. And people go, well, how can you let Trevor Miller start that against Ethier? Well, Trevor Miller's done an outstanding job. And if Trevor does what he's done 90+% of the time, Franklin enters that game with 1 out, nobody on base. So it was Ethier got a pitch that he could hit. He gets a double. Franklin still comes in there. And it's just too easy to say, well, the best hitter in baseball is up. And that's what Kemp is right now, the leading hitter. Go ahead and walk him because the next 3 guys are struggling.
2-2.
That way as a closer.
Backhanded by Terrio. Settles, throws, makes the play. And that at bat alone, an example of Sanchez, and you talked about it, Al, his ability to throw a slider for a strike. First pitch was on the outside corner, the black. He got a strike on the inside corner. And then on that pitch, Worth not able to extend his arm. So get a little bit of an idea of just how good this guy might be. And
you can ride that wave right now. Now there's another school of thought that if he retires LaRoche, 6 up, 6 down, his 3rd dominant performance at the major league level, that you make sure it is a positive outing, get him out. But as Tony and Duncan have saying, I'm not going to tell you who my closer is because it could evolve. It could be a bullpen by committee. It could be the veteran Batista. It could be a lefty because, like Trevor, because the situation dictates him start the inning. It could be Boggs. I mean, right now, there's different options, but everyone is gaining confidence in what this young man is doing. And you watch his mannerisms on the mound. He's not afraid, and that's the first strength of a guy, anybody at this level.
Slowly hit, but rolls foul. Crowd tonight of 33,714. 33714. Well, I know my money. I don't know about you. I mean, I'm intrigued to see if they would go back out in the 9th and at least start it with Sanchez. He's at 22 pitches right now.
I could do it either way. He's not going to be available for tomorrow, and that's another factor. You've got a game, at 12 o'clock. Nobody warming up, but we're still out there in the field, so you got the at bat. So the decision, maybe it's made, maybe it's not made, but right now he's doing what he should do. And just when you got the ball, go out and pitch. Do the best job you can. Everything else will take care of itself.
2-2.
And it's like anybody down there in that bullpen, they say, well, I don't know what my role is. Sure, when the phone rings, they say, get up, and then go put zeros on the board.
2-2 pitch. Another slider, pulled foul. He does have a little flair to his game, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's, he's 22. And he will not be 23 until the day after Christmas. So a young 22.
The 2-2 pitch to LaRoche. Got him. Strikeout. Sanchez with his 2nd. 2 scoreless innings, 6 up and 6 down. Bottom of the 8th coming up. The Cardinals with a 5-3 lead. What a job by Mr. Sanchez. Cardinals baseball on your home of the Redbirds. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Bank of America, ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope. With Bank of America, member FDIC. And by AT&T. Tony La Russa couldn't ask for much more from his bullpen in Game 1 or so far here in Game 2. Outstanding work by Sanchez and Mott.
8 innings by the bullpen to this point, and only 1 run allowed. And Dan, I think it's only 2 hits and 1 walk in those 8 innings.
Right.
So Boggs is warming up now.
It's now 9 strikeouts in the 3 appearances for Sanchez. Mott got 3 outs from 3 hitters that he saw in the 6th.
And just go out and add to the 2-run lead. Just make it a little more comfortable, whoever pitches the 9th.
The 2-1 to Molina. In the air into left center. On the move, Rick Ankiel. He won't get it. Pops over the wall for a leadoff ground rule double.
Rick Ankiel was playing shallow and way over into right center. So a long, long run.
Our Nissan drive of the game off the bat of Molina, who's on base for the 2nd time, also picked up a key 2-out RBI single. Here's Punto, and let's see if he can get a bunt down if they want to sacrifice in this spot. The risk that you run is that you have Molina running at 2nd base, so his secondary lead has got to be a good one.
No doubt about it. And Punto, a well-seasoned veteran in the American League, you just may have confidence that he could pull a ball.
Bunts 1 foul. Also, with the way that they are positioned defensively, the shortstop is trying to keep Molina close to the bag at 2nd. Then you have the 3rd baseman near the line and playing in. If he can just slap one the other way, it's a base hit.
Sure. So, you survey it. He's an infielder. He knows the defense better than we do. If you're going to bunt, you're going to bunt it hard enough to get it by the pitcher down the 3rd base line, make the 3rd baseman vacate the bag and field it. If you're a good bunter, and I'm sure Punto is, a breaking ball really is an easy pitch to bunt. It's much slower. It's easier to catch it with the bat. You have the knees flex. It's coming right into you. Just with proper form, it's very simple.
3rd baseman coming in to talk about this. That's Jerry Hairston.
3rd baseman's always the quarterback. He'll usually verbalize to the pitcher and signs to the rest of the infielders.
Outfield is straight away and very shallow. 1 ball, 1 strike. Punto trying to hit it the other way, and Hairston makes a good play. Did exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah, he really did. It hit it too far down the 3rd base line. But really, when the pitch was made, the shortstop was out of position. But even then, you hit a ball a little bit harder. He gets by the 3rd baseman there. But the pitch was made with a shortstop standing at 2nd base, out of position. So you had anything that you could get by Hairston was a sure base hit.
And Al, that's the 2nd time we've seen that by Washington today.
Right.
Descalso hits it off the end of the bat and a foul ball.
Now watch, see the shortstop's out of position, ball hit here, so now your pitcher's going to run over here. There's always some place to go because Hairston's in front, so when he throws across there, now they try to pick off and late, but there's always some place to go. You don't just stand at your position. A lot of times pitchers don't get involved as much as they should.
0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2 with one out and a runner at second base. We're in the 8th. It's 5-3 St. Louis. The Cardinals with 1 run in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and 2 more in the 5th. They've out-hit Washington 9-4. It was another very good performance by Jaime Garcia. 0-2 the count. Descalso slices it to left field. Playing in and shallow. Morse makes the catch. And there's 2 outs.
John Jay will pinch hit. So even if you wanted to send Sanchez out there, you've got a scoring opportunity where you've got to take the shot and get an extra run.
As much intrigue as there is with Sanchez and maybe going out for a 3rd inning, like we talked about, there's also on the other side the intrigue of watching Boggs finish off a game.
No doubt about it. I mean, that's the fun part right now, is you get to see a lot of guys audition. But this is what Tony was talking about, because as the game flows, I've got to be in a position to where I can anticipate I've got a scoring opportunity here. It might have been a push to send Sanchez back out for a 3rd inning. The way he was pitching, it would be very intriguing and possibly would have happened. But right now you've got to take a shot on an extra run.
1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
And before Sanchez got here, there was an awful lot of fans that were clamoring to see Boggs in the closer role. So everybody's getting their wish.
Three and 0.
And Franklin did pitch in game 1. He did allow a solo home run to Lance Nix, but for the most part he pitched very well in his 2 innings of work. And that's what he needs to do right now, is to have some other assignments and go out there and regroup.
3-1.
Talking about how much this game is mental. Right now it's more of a mental game for Ryan Franklin than physical.
A 3-1 pitch to Jay.
Balk is called.
So Molina can advance to 3rd base with 2 outs, and the count remains 3 balls and 1 strike.
Archery comes set here. You see that little flinch.
Yep.
And Tim Cheetah is so good at picking up that. He is the second base umpire, the crew chief. And by the way, if you didn't know it, he's from Minnesota.
And
hitting.
Yeah, that hits Jay. So Molina back to 3rd. And Ryan Theriot has a chance here for some insurance runs. Runners at 1st and 3rd. Our director Tom Mee hails from Minnesota, as well as Tim Cheetah. Those two were best of friends growing up.
And that's when it stopped, right?
Well, Cheetah beat him out of a position in senior year of high school basketball, and it's never been the same. Theriot, line drive into right, and another catch by Worth, sliding on his knees. He did that to end game 1. Sends us to the 9th. Boggs coming in with a 2-run lead.
Cards by 2 as we go to the 9th. Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Rick Horton waiting in the wings. Jaime getting ground balls and swing and misses. Albert's impact without swinging the bat. And Tony TV as well. Mitchell Boggs on to try to close it out for the Cardinals as we go back to the booth. And Dan and Al, guys.
All right, Jim, thanks. 9 innings, 3 hits. ERA of even 2 for Mitchell Boggs. Opponents only hitting 100 against him. And Al, one thing that really stood out on the most recent road trip for Boggs was just how sharp and nasty his slider was.
Very much so. He had a little setback in spring training, lower back strain, set him back a couple weeks. He's had 5 consecutive scoreless appearances. In his professional career, he has a 0 save opportunities or saves. And here he's getting his first shot. but he has the physical attributes. An overpowering fastball with a very good breaking ball. And one of the things that I like about him too is he has a football background, which I always think helps as a closer to have that little bit of a mentality as you see him hit 96.
No balls and 2 strikes, a 2-run lead for St. Louis. Wilson Ramos, the hitter at the plate. Molina sets up inside in the dirt. Al, I was in Athens, Georgia over the weekend where Mr. Boggs hails, and talking to the coaching staff there, they said when they had him in college, at times he was inconsistent, but they knew he had major league stuff, and they always felt, even though he was starting, that he would be best suited in this role as a closer possibly, but definitely in relief.
Yeah, I mean, when he came, he was really the failed starter. The young starter comes up, struggles to keep his pitch count under 100 and get to 5 innings. But all of a sudden you put him in the bullpen, and he's throwing about 3 to 5 miles an hour faster. Now that wasn't the best breaking ball there, but if they don't swing and it's called a strike, you're okay. But that was the good slider or breaking ball that we've been talking about. But he's throwing a lot better, and there's an indication of it. He can throw a 94-mile-an-hour sinker. And when you think, when you talk about 89 is a power sinker, and then when you add 5 more miles an hour to it with sinking action, it can be an explosive pitch. And then he can get up to 98 on occasion with a 4-seamer.
0-2 on Morse.
So this is, and you really do have to compliment, the Boggs, the Motts, the guys down there. They're all pulling for Ryan Franklin. Sure, they'd like this opportunity, and they'll get more opportunities at some point, closers in waiting. But because of Boggs' breaking ball, I put him ahead of the class over Mott. Is a better breaking ball. Those guys down the bullpen, they have a lot of pride. They have a lot of camaraderie. They know that a lot of their success that they've had the last couple of years has been the teachings of guys from Trevor and Ryan Franklin.
0-2, backhanded by Pujols for out number 2. Let's turn to our player of the game, Eduardo Sanchez, who had 2 scoreless innings. He struck out 2, and now in his 3 outings in the big leagues, 9 strikeouts for the young right-hander, our Budweiser player of the game.
And what a job the bullpen has done. They had to pitch 6 innings in game 1, and they have to go 4 innings in game 2. Still got to get that last out.
Ian Desmond, strike 1.
Cardinals 3 times this year been in this situation, trying to get the 27th out with no one on base, and lost those games. You get the feeling tonight that's not going to happen.
0-1 pitch on its way. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dan, I think sometimes Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan psych out young pitchers, saying the 9th inning is so tough, and really psych them out. Who's the best reliever of all in history? Rivera?
To me, it's Rivera, yeah.
Okay, let's say it's Rivera. Well, there was one time when he wasn't good enough to be the closer.
Right, he was setting up Wetland.
He was setting up Wetland. He wasn't good enough. But what he learned in those 7th and 8th innings got him to the knowledge to become a great closer.
A base hit on a 1-2 pitch, and the tying run comes to the plate.
It's not going to happen tonight.
And the pullback Hairston following the base hit by Desmond.
You got a couple veterans. This is Nix. You also got Matt Stairs over there. Nix hit a home run in game 1.
That was the home run that was off of Franklin.
You got Matt Stairs, who started with Montreal back in the 80s. I think it was 89.
What a career he's had, huh?
He is the all-time leading pinch hit home run leader. And his Nick's pinch hit, and he's on deck behind Nick's, would be 100. But right now, you got to get through Nick's. So they're going to see if Nick's can extend it and then let Stairs win it.
Stairs, Al, 1992. He came up with Montreal.
But when he signed with the Expos, 89? Something like that? Got to look about
1989.
You got to look several pages.
2 outs and a runner at first. They'll play behind that runner. And the first pitch taken for a strike.
Fielder's indifference. That run can just get you closer, but it can't beat you. So as long as Boggs gets Nick's out, the Cardinals win. 1 for 5 against Boggs.
96 on the gun.
Now you've got Trevor Miller and Batista warming up for the Cardinals.
Pitch number 15 upcoming in this inning by Boggs.
Batista's been a closer in the past. Trevor's had games like this where he's come in to get a final out.
Popped up, and this should do it. Albert is there. The Cardinals win it 5-3. They split the doubleheader. The rubber game tomorrow afternoon here on Fox Sports Midwest. The Cardinals 5, Washington 3. The bullpen outstanding in both games today and again tonight. Post-game show is coming up next.
Game is over with a Cardinal victory, so they split this doubleheader here at Busch Stadium with the Nationals. Rick Hort and I are here to break it all down on Cardinals Live. Good to get that last one.
Jaime Garcia was good today, but the bullpen was more than good. Outstanding job by 3 Cardinal relievers, and the Cardinals end a very long day in a good way.
10 innings, in fact, for the Cardinal relievers today, and they did a very nice job. More from Rick coming up on Cardinals Live. Plus, one bad inning did the Cardinals in during Game 1, but they are able to bounce back and take the nightcap against the pesky Nats. Plus, lovable lefty Jaime Garcia taking the mound, and he gives the Cardinals just what they need in Game 2. We'll take you back inside Busch Stadium for player reaction, Tony La Russa's post-game presser as well, and we'll look back at a famous double dip involving our lovable lefty sitting to my right. Speaking of Rick, happy birthday to one of those lovable actors, Joey Lawrence. Whoa, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, next.
Get complete Cards post-game coverage right after the game on Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. In-depth analysis of all the big plays, plus Tony La Russa's post-game comments and reaction from the locker room. Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, right after every Cards game on Fox Sports Midwest.
Welcome to Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live.
Wins here at home have been hard to come by so far in 2011, but they get one in the second game of a doubleheader tonight. Mitchell Boggs getting the pop out. Albert Pujols squeeze it. The Cardinals hold on for the 5-3 victory. So some 33,714 Cardinal faithful exit Busch Stadium with smiles on their faces, knowing that their team was able to earn the split in this doubleheader today. Hello, everybody. Welcome back inside Busch Stadium for the postgame edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live with former Cardinal hurler Ricky Horton. I'm Pat Paris. Coming up, we'll of course have plenty of reaction from Tony La Russa, and inside the Cardinal clubhouse, we'll talk about Jaime Garcia, what he was able to do right, and also what Rick remembers about playing in these double headers. You'll want to stick around for that. First of all, though, Rick, let's talk about the positive, and that is that this Cardinals team had plenty of offense to back up some pretty solid pitching.
And they were able to put that offense together in the 5th inning. That was the real key. They had some very timely hits in the middle of that 5th inning to get that cushion up there. But really the story of this game is absolutely the young guns from the right side of the bullpen all coming in, blowing gas, throwing up zeros in the last 4 innings of this game. They did a great job to help out Jaime Garcia and help him towards his 3rd victory.
3-0 is Jaime Garcia. Let's get upstairs now. View from the booth. There's Dan and Al rejoining us to put a wrap on a successful nightcap in this one, guys.
Yeah, and to follow up what Rick was talking about, both you guys really, Eduardo Sanchez is a guy that really has just burst onto the scene. That's now, 3 outings. He's got 9 strikeouts in his 5 innings of work, and again, very impressive tonight.
And only 1 hit allowed. That's what I like about the young man, is he goes out there with a purpose. He's attacking the strike zone. He throws strikes, whether it's his fastball or whether it's his breaking ball. He goes out there and not showing any weakness. He's going out there, looks like he's having fun, and he's challenging hitters, and he's coming out the best of the bunch. So he went 2 innings here again tonight. He gives up, 2 strikeouts. So, he's just done an outstanding job. More important assignment here, protecting a 2-run lead with 2 innings. But don't forget Salas in game 1. I mean, he saved that bullpen also by going 3 shutout innings, and for the day, the bullpen has 9 innings pitched, only 1 blemish, one run on the afternoon.
And the back end of the game here tonight, how about Mitchell Boggs? Looked pretty good.
Well, he looked outstanding, and remember, so you had the 3 young right-handers, because Mott came in before Sanchez. Boggs gets his first professional save. He got a base runner there, but he didn't crack. He went out there and challenged him. So hopefully Cardinal Nation will relax a little bit. Before we can get Frankie back to his role, right now things are under good protection with a lot of good arms in that bullpen.
All right, the Cardinals split the doubleheader. We'll talk about Kyle Loesch getting the start tomorrow afternoon. Pat and Rhett, let's send it back to you.
Talk to you guys in just a bit. Let's go downstairs now. Tony La Russa stepping to the mic, brought to you by the Painting and Decorating Foundation.
Another nice night at the plate tonight.
Well, he's so clutch. And if we had never seen him before, we would be a little surprised and very impressed. We've seen him so often against us. It's what a treat it is to have him on our side.
You didn't use everybody early, but to have to protect a lead for 12 outs is not an easy task. And what do you think of what you saw from those guys tonight?
Well, I thought everybody. I mean, Mott comes in, pitches this afternoon, threw the ball well, good command. Sanchez pitches like he's been pitching, good stuff. I was really impressed with Boggs in the ninth, good composure. That 1 base hit, with a 2 strike, he still, he had to throw a strike there, and then you got a really dangerous pinch hitter, and he didn't back off and made a good pitch to end it. So they were all very impressive.
Remember the last time you've had a guy for a week in the big leagues and then trusted him with the responsibility you gave Sanchez tonight?
Pujols, Baines, McGuire.
I mean, that shows you what he's done. But
No, you can't ignore it. I mean, he just come in and, it's not just the results, it's how he's getting them. He's got different pitches, different movements, real good life, late life, I mean, all the stuff you look for. So it hasn't looked like it's gotten to his head. He's been the same guy every day, so it's been fun.
What did you see from Jaime tonight?
I thought Jaime was good. A couple, we made 3 errors, but, a couple of the hits that they got that capitalized them were not his best put-away pitches. But overall, man, they won 3 in a row or 4 or whatever they won. They're playing good, and he stopped it for us, so the pitch good.
What do you make of an offensive night like this where you guys really kind of have to scratch and claw for some of those runs? I mean, an extended 2-out rally there. I mean,
Yeah, I just think that's so much what we're capable of. We got tough, competitive hitters. I mean, these guys haven't been as productive in their careers because they hit 2-0, 2-1 all the time. And, I mean, they got to fight back and scratch out a hit when they're behind the count, against tough pitching to all fields. I mean, it's an impressive group. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing them all year long. It's been fun to watch them so far.
would you discuss Scalzo's play at third base tonight? Yeah.
Exceptional. One of the keys to the game. We don't win it without his defense. Scored a run, too. I think he's really anxious to contribute in every way. He's been good every place he goes, so he had a couple at bats there at the end, and, he's could hear him muttering to himself. But we don't win the game without his defense.
Does it stand out anymore kind of different plays he makes. He charges a couple balls. He makes a play to his right. I mean, he's just kind of showing off the range of things at that position.
I think it did last year when we played him right at first and didn't have hardly any recognition of what he could do there. But now, I mean, he's quick off the mark. He's got such a strong and true arm that all that's possible. He's got good hands.
Was there any debate about putting him at second and Punto at third in the first game for Punto tonight or not?
No, I think wasn't even a close call. I think Dan's been playing really well at third base, and I think this is an opportunity for Nick to play some second base with Skip out, so might as well let him play there.
How do you kind of see moving forward with Punto now, trying to keep him in there?
Well, he's a player, so I think he's coming off procedure and a disabling period. So I don't know if we can play him tomorrow afternoon right away. I'll check with him. If he can, he plays. If not, play do something else. But I mean, he'll play as health allows.
How did their starter look to you?
Good, very impressive. I kept looking at Jaime's totals and his totals, and I thought Jaime was efficient, but he was ridiculous. I mean, I saw the catcher's glove. He hit the glove all night long. That's a tough loss for him. Good.
Thanks, Tony. Tony La Russa's comments, and in case you missed it in the earlier game today, Tony La Russa dealing with an eye infection and certainly looks very painful for the manager right now, but he was talking about the win, and Jaime Garcia certainly thought he did a good enough job pitching around 3 errors.
It was interesting, too, that he gave so much praise to Sanchez, and he said, he's done everything we've wanted him to do. And, the questions as they were pressed, have you ever given a rookie that kind of credit before, an opportunity before at such a young age? And his answer was Albert Pujols, which I thought was a pretty good answer. But from the pitcher's side, that's a whole different world. But Sanchez has earned the right to pitch in those innings, and after that one good inning, why not leave him out there for another one? And Mitchell Boggs also was outstanding. So was Jason Mott, and really Tony was obviously had a lot of good things to talk about. If you're going to say anything negative about what happened with the Cardinal game this tonight, was the fact that they made 3 errors, but they did space those errors out.
They scattered them.
They didn't bunch the errors, but you almost never win a game when you make 3 errors.
No.
But that's what we just saw happen.
Yeah, exactly right. How about we look at the extended version of the highlights now, where there's no score, of course, until the 3rd inning. And small ball is what the Cardinal offense uses. Colby Rasmus then does the rest, singles up the middle, scoring Daniel Descalzo, his 4th RBI of the day and 9th of the season, puts the Redbirds up 1-0. Rasmus has hits in 15 of the 18 games this season.
He has been very consistent, and really, since the Cardinals offense started to explode, everybody's been consistent in the middle of that lineup.
4th inning, that costly error, one of them puts Garcia in a bind. Rick Ankiel flies deep to left. Matt Holliday, well, he's under it, and he drops it. So 3-base error for Holliday turns into an RBI ground out for the Nats, but they would get no more of that inning off Garcia.
Only one other ball was hit to the outfield in the first 4 innings. Garcia, ground ball pitcher. Maybe Matt Holliday wasn't expecting any action.
Maybe that's it.
Garcia's been so good.
Holliday draws a leadoff walk in the bottom half of the inning, and then as teammates pick him up, Lance Berkman slices one the other way. Left field corner for a double. Holliday races around from first to give the Cardinals a 2-1 lead, sliding in safely. Team leading 14th RBI for Berkman.
I like the way the Cardinals are running the bases early on. In this hit streak, they're also taking the extra base. They're being very aggressive.
Putting the pressure on. Later in the inning, Nick Punto comes through with his first hit as a Cardinal. Singles to right, scores Big Puma, makes it 3-1. Descalzo and Punto right in the middle of both of these rallies, Rick, and you'll love to see that.
Yeah, it's good. People have talked about how great a player he is, and wait till you see him play, and I've been waiting a long time, and I like what I see so
like
far.
What we see. Top 5 now, 3-2. Rick Ankiel with the runners at 3rd. He lines with a single to right. Espinoza scores a tying run on Hank's 5th RBI. Good to see Hank playing well, not against the Cardinals, though.
Yeah, I want to get Espinoza, though. I mean, that guy can play. I just like watching him swing the bat. I think he's going to be a great player.
Berkman comes through again, though, in this next half inning, this time with a single to center. Pools comes around to score. Ankiel, no throw there. Cards back on top 4-3, and then the hit parade continues as Yadier Molina is the next batter coming to the plate, and he'll promptly single to center. This time, there is a throw from Ankiel.
And he's got the great arm, and Holliday gets the great jump, and it's a bang-bang play, but that's what I'm talking about. The Cardinals have just done a great job of running the bases. You got to take a direct route there because Ankiel has such a strong arm. That was really the dagger hit by Molina.
And then it's up to the bullpen to protect the 5-3 lead, and they do just that. It's Jason Mott, then Eduardo Sanchez, and then in the 9th, You got to watch the game to see who's going to close out the game.
Well, we watched it.
And we did.
And the answer was?
Mitchell Boggs gets the last 3 outs, including the pop-out to Albert Pujols. So 5-3 as the fireworks go off, and Cardinal fans can, I think, breathe a collective sigh of relief on this one.
Well, I will say that this ball club is better, this Washington Nationals team, than we've seen in the past. I like some of their young players. They also were without Virginia's Ryan Zimmerman, of course, today.
Yes.
And they're going to be better when he comes back. But for the Cardinals to take this game, obviously it's big on this homestand to get it back rolling in the right direction.
And it's Big Puma, Lance Berkman, who's doing a lot of damage. Jim Hayes catching up with him just moments ago, our Mid-America Chevrolet Dealers Player of the Game. Pat?
3 hits and a couple of RBIs for Lance Berkman. Lance, a nice way to bounce back and take the tail end of the double dip, right?
Yeah, you know, I think we've been playing pretty well. Just, you know, got to keep going. And after that first game, it's good to just come back out and play another good ball game and get a W.
Ever since you guys broke out offensively, it seems you've been getting a lot of big 2-out hits. What does that say about an offense when you're able to do that?
Well, I think you know, early on we were giving ourselves opportunities. We just weren't getting that hit. Now we're, you know, giving ourselves the same opportunity and we're getting a few hits. And you know, those kind of things are cyclical in the game. I think as long as we keep putting guys on base and keep giving ourselves a chance to hit it, it'll be fine.
You've gotten pretty good pitching all year. Today, Jaime was solid, and the bullpen came in and threw donuts the rest of the way.
Yeah, they did great. I thought in the second game the bullpen was tremendous. Sanchi came in there, and you know, Boggs threw an inning, and Mott threw an inning, and then of course Boggs closed it out. So great job by the pitching staff, and it's a good win.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Lance Berkman, we send it back to you guys.
Jim, thank you. Lance Berkman tied for 4th in the majors with Danny Espinosa of the Nationals with 15 RBIs.
And Cardinal fans have really wanted to get to know Lance Berkman, and you know what? You're getting to know him because he's talking to Jim Hayes after every game. Yeah, at the start of the game, I think Jim and he just kind of have a little thing going, but Berkman's getting that nod, of course, because he's making a contribution, and of course he's making a contribution in the clubhouse as well. But typically, Lance Berkman, not a fast starter, but he has been a fast starter for the Redbirds in 2011, and it's been contagious because it's not just him, and even in the games where you pick him as the star of the game, there are a lot of other people contributing, right. And you know, you don't want a guy to go 4 for 4 and you get 6 hits as a team. The Cardinals have just been pounding out hits really since they left San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly right. Once Matt Holliday came back, everybody seemed to jumpstart the offense. We're going to continue on Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. We'll talk about the future of the bullpen, and it's now King of the Hill worthy? Certainly is. Stay with us.